Chapter 15, Back to Base. The Legion has made it to the base. The life force is placed in a safe within a hidden room, which is notified to all Legion members, and now they are going to find Arvin's locations thanks to his very own tracking chip in his body, which will also help find Orpheon's ship as well. But as they try and find Arvin, an argument starts to occur, and Pod's trust in the Legion gets lost after losing Arvin. Nicole tries to argue back by saying that there is a chance to bring back Arvin and that considering how close Pod is to Arvin, Pod should have pointed out and criticized Arvin's curious nature. Pod wonders why he joined a team like this, letting Earth home him when he could have been freer and roam whenever. Afterwards, Nicole reminds him that he wouldn't have met Arvin in the first place and all the negative history of him in the past needs to evolve, going from cannon fodder into a genuine hero. Zami can find Arvin's location, and while he didn't take part in the argument, it had reached a point where he has doubts about staying with this team if these arguments were to reoccur, drawing attention away from him or getting negative vibes from them. But this argument is cut short as the net robots take the chance to strike the base once the shields are down temporarily. Arvin was used to tracking where the life force is, which is at the base, and so the net robots and even Orpheon himself fight a damaged base. Fighting servicemen who are less prepared, this makes the Legion keep themselves together. And so, the base has been fired at, some of the servicemen try and get the shields back up as soon as possible before another strike occurs, but most of it has been wrecked, fire and debris everywhere. A lot of servicemen injured, some willing to fight, the rest are not, and sadly some servicemen have even died. Immediately, the Netro fighter craft start coming, not only firing at the base but even dropping off net robots too, firing their guns. Mike and Retron get the servicemen to circle the base, get their tanks going, drive the 4x4s in a circle and get the crafts in the air. This allows the good side to overwhelm the enemy team and form a defense alongside eyes in the sky. The Legion is also down considering the Legion building is not far, but they start seeing the attack from quite a distance. With no awesome atone, it has not yet been fetched by the servicemen, and so Nicole's spare 4x4 is still intact, and the Legion gets driving. The servicemen and net robots use their abilities again, going at each other from a distance, and with slightly more net robots, they start closing in. But what makes matters worse is that Orpheon has now arrived in his craft. He sends the craft to drone mode, making it a force in the air. And so Orpheon stands strong, gripping his mace, summoning a few guns all around his body, and then he starts to zoom into battle. Orpheon knocks into and fires at multiple servicemen and vehicles, making many go into the cover or try to avoid fire, making them distracted from the net robots going after them too. And so Orpheon is about to enter the building, only for Pod to throw his trident like a javelin and hit Orpheon in the side of his head. As Orpheon tries to get his net robots to breach the base, Nicole drives her 4x4 into Orpheon as she guides Zami into the base to find the life force while Pod is tasked to fight Orpheon head-on, with Mike and other servicemen trying to help. Diane in the meantime is still fighting his tank, taking too much fire, but still able to fly. But he now has to be careful, this tank cannot be left alone with the defenseless residents. Diane has to take it down despite wanting to help the base. Nicole and Zami have found the life force, and Zami is tasked to defend it, on his own, but will remain in contact with the others. Zami gets nervous but Nicole appeals to Zami by saying that if Zami wants to show off, then he must do something good in the meantime, and so Nicole runs and is about to join the fight, but she sees and hears about all the injuries happening. This made her think, instead of always being on the job, she then has a small hint from her heart, that she could do with helping in more sentimental ways. Aiding a load of servicemen could help bring the numbers up again, after all. Her medical skills are very efficient, and the first aid serviceman could do with her help. Back to Orpheon however, despite Pod's efforts, Pod is somewhat beaten badly, still wanting to fight, but Mike gets mildly whacked, and the serviceman's help is reduced for Pod and Mike. Nicole explains what the Legion's positions are, to which Pod understands but has a sense of being left out, something which Arvin has always been providing. But with Pod down, Orpheon and some assisting net robots start to breach the base. Zami is nervous, hearing that the net robots are starting to come about. Zami is prepared to fight, and he does zap some incoming net robots by constantly producing lightning, but then he sees Pod and Mike come about to fight Orpheon. This makes Zami scared. It's the first time they are seeing Orpheon after all. Zami is about to wait for a clear shot, But then Orpheon grabs hold of Mike and throws him through a window. Zami runs to get hold of Mike before he falls. Zami catches Mike, but as Orpheon properly hurts Pod using his mace. Orpheon then grabs hold of the life force and starts to run. The net robots start to attack inside the base, and Orpheon starts to contact all the net robots to retreat, all in the aircraft, and off they go with the life force. The Legion is gutted. And even Retron is mad as he tries to snipe at any more net robots he can get hold of. But the land is a wreck, everyone is worn out and the life force is gone, making Retron somewhat angry that Earth could be in danger from this, and he is gathering ideas for what to do next. Nicole has aided many including Pod, and Mike is thankful for Zami saving him. Zami's ego has lessened to a point where he is considering others more, and even Nicole is more into people compared to the mission at hand, but both need a balance. Back to Diane and the Collabos. Diane is getting more and more disappointed that he is unable to not only help the Legion but also unable to help many other situations. He is not keen on letting anyone down considering how efficient he is known for it on many worlds. Diane is getting more and more damaged. And while he is running out of choices, despite his power, he does his best to avoid environmental damage. He does try and be careful. Despite his lowering power, he does manage to save one Collabos from some rubble and then zooms back to the tank. From how impressive Diane is. Considering this is a race that has never seen Diane before, the race becomes inspired, and so they get hold of their new catapults. They are uncertain if they will work, and it is unknown if their rocks will help against the tank, but they can still try. As Diane is at his wit's end. The catapults get fired, trying against the tank. This does make the tank distracted, making the tank fire at the Collabos using its main cannons and side cannons. Diane takes advantage of this despite being nervous for them. And so Diane zooms towards the tanks and fires missiles down the main cannons which damage some of the machinery inside the tank. Diane then manages to rip the tops off the tank, and even the side cannons, destroying the whole tank, finally. Over time, the race comes to celebrate Diane. And Diane quickly thanks them, knowing that Earth needs his help. Diane, while thanking the race, states that the race didn't have to help him considering the danger, but the race goes on to say that even the most powerful beings would need help. Diane thinks about that and then zooms off, getting a star to heal himself too, already knowing where to go next. The net robots, after hearing and seeing that both tanks are down, disappointed, seeing that their primary nemesis is still around. Even finding out that the other tank was crushed by vegetation, confusing them all and annoying them. Even Orpheon is told about this, but now he has the life force, the tanks can be gathered later, and he is a step up from what a couple of ranks can do.